Welcome to Business in the Age of Empathy. Today we're talking with Amanda Maringka, a social entrepreneur and marketing enthusiast. She co-founded Terartai in 2020, a social business based in Jakarta that empowers people with special needs to create artworks and find meaning in their lives. But before founding Terartai, Amanda spent 5 years at Innate Motion running inside works and research projects to help global brands like Unilever, Danone, and Coca-Cola to design more meaningful marketing and branding strategies that put people at the core. Welcome to the podcast, Amanda.
Hi, Shad.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks. Happy to be
Yeah.
here. Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you here. So we're going to talk about something very interesting that you're working on, Amanda, which is a special social entrepreneurship. But what I'm curious about before we get into that is how did you actually end up in Innate Motion?
During my internship with Unilever Indonesia, they had a workshop, Crafting Brands for Life workshop. My internship was like months long, and the Crafting Brands for Life workshop was on the first 5 days of my internship. And that workshop gave me epiphany about marketing and branding. And I was so excited. I didn't know at the time that it was actually Innate Motion who created the Crafting Brands for Life.
Do you remember who gave the workshop at that time?
At the time, it was Mark Matthew. And then I came across Arya, who was working at Innate Motion. And he told me that he's working for Innate and it's this incredible job. You can work from anywhere. It was also pre-COVID, right? So working remotely was whoa. And yeah, I kind of want to do that. I live in Jakarta and Jakarta's traffic is really crazy. So if you have an opportunity to avoid Jakarta's traffic every day, I would definitely take that. And then I applied. Only then I knew that it was Innate Motion who was
doing the workshop back then.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So how did you like it those 5 years?
It was really nice. I really liked it. I met a lot of my good friends also from Innate. Yeah, it was one of the most memorable times of my life and what has shaped me to be the person I am today. I can confidently say that without my years at Innate, I wouldn't have found Terartai.
Amazing. What is the most memorable memory of your time at Innate Motion?
The pilgrimages. Because with Innate, you don't see your colleagues that often. You see each other virtually. Then once every year, it's always nice to be able to see everyone all together in the same place.
For those listening who don't know what the pilgrimage is, it's a yearly get-together of all Innate Motion employees. We actually recorded at the last pilgrimage a podcast about the history of Innate and how it works. So anybody interested in that, definitely go and listen to that one. So you had a great time at Innate Motion, but then somehow you still found a new passion. How did that come about?
It was 5 years after my job at Innate. I started having this existential crisis within myself. Working at Innate, like it's fun, but it's also very dynamic. You have a very busy day, a lot of traveling. And then at the same time, I was also having personal problems, which was a heartbreak. And for some reason, at the time, I felt really judged and disappointed. And it led me to a burnout. And it really made me question what is my next move. And it really made me question about my reason for being too. So it started by me thinking, okay, I love my job. I love my coworkers, my team, and the work that I do at Innate. I also really believe in that. But is that what I'm meant to do forever? Is that what I'm created to do for?
Even though you were having a great time at your job, you were wondering whether it was what you were meant to do, whether that was the thing that you were on earth for.
I started questioning that. And it's weird because it was actually triggered by my personal heartbreak. And I started a lot of reading, listening to a lot of podcasts. And there's one phrase that really stuck to me. And it was a phrase that says, when you're facing a problem or something that breaks you, you have a choice whether you want to stay there or you want to move forward and make your problems into something that is beautiful or something that makes you stronger.
That is an amazing quote. And obviously you want to do the second thing. So what did you do next?
I decided I should take a sabbatical to explore that area. And the flexibility at Innate allowed us to take sabbatical. So I'm really grateful for that. So I took, I think it was 2, 3 months sabbatical.
And how did you spend the sabbatical?
I talked to my friends about like what I've been struggling with and what I'm looking to do. And I think like it's good that I do like some volunteering work. And a friend of mine, her family owns a special needs school in Jakarta. She said, "Oh, you can actually volunteer at my mom's school. Like
And what kind of school was it?
they have adult students who have actually graduated from the school, but they return back to the school because they don't have anywhere else to go. They cannot go to universities because the universities here, most of them don't have a sufficient infrastructure or facilities for people with special needs. So that's why
Right.
they go back to this special needs school. And then,
They get their primary schooling at that school, and then the idea is for them to go out in the world, but then there is no place that can accommodate them. So they
yeah,
go back.
yeah. The school became like a daycare for
Right.
them because their parents are busy working, or for some of my students, they're like in their 30s, even in their 40s. So the parents are older. They have to go to office or they have other things to take care of at home. So they needed the time and space for them to actually do their own thing. In a normal family, when your child is in their 30s or 40s, they would be going to office or do something on their own. Whereas these people with special needs, like they're still at home and still need your basic care to get through
Yeah.
the day. Their parents prefer to send them to school so the school can actually
Right.
take care of them.
Yeah. And was that the place where your idea for Trat came to life?
Yeah. So I decided to also invite a few friends to host a painting event together at the school. We had a session with the teachers asking about the do's and don'ts and what to expect and whatnot, and what would be easier for the students to paint. The teachers told us that it's better if we create some kind of like outline on the canvas. So imagine a coloring book, but on canvas. So me and my friends, we created those outlines, but we wanted those outlines to be something that is close to the student.
Yeah. And how did you make sure you would stay close to the students?
We had the chance to speak with their therapists and with some of the students as well, and with their families about what are their hobbies, what are their favorite thing to do at home, like on their day-to-day basis. And then on the actual painting day, we printed the outline on the canvas and then we painted the canvases together.
Yeah. So how did they like that event?
It was really fun actually. And the teachers and the parents, I think, expected the worst of the event because usually students with special needs, they tend to have tantrums, or when they're tired, they run around. So they've briefed us with all these dramatic scenarios. And so I was like really nervous. Like me and my friends were like, oh my God, like, what are we going to do? Like when these kids are running around, but they were all very calm and we were able to finish all the paintings on time. And so
At that day, at that first event, was there one of the students that came up to you, or what, did someone do something that really struck with you or touched you in any way?
one of the painting that was resulted from that painting event become our iconic product that people usually remember us of.
What kind of painting is that?
It was a painting of the river and there's like hills and then like fish in the river. It's a beautiful painting. And I asked the guy who painted this, he was 33 years old and he has a really severe cerebral palsy. So he needed his sister to help him like, move his hands. So I asked him, like, what is the painting about? And he said, it's about friendship. I'm like, okay, it's a river. Like, why friendship? And then he said, yeah, because friendship is about giving. It's about being kind to people around you. When you want your friendship to last, you have to be like this river that is flowing a water of kindness. And then he also named the painting the river of kindness. And I think that was really beautiful. And
That is beautiful. Yeah.
and I was really astonished with how he was able to, like, it's very far, right? Like friendship to a river. Like, how can you think of that?
That's a beautiful story. And then at one point, you made the jump start this entrepreneurship and to make products from these artworks?
Yeah, we've had the events several times and we've generated quite a number of artworks. And the teachers and the parents were like, hey, we have these pile of artworks. What are you going to do with it? If you just put it here, then it's just going to go to waste. And then for some reason, I don't know why, I didn't really do much thinking at the time. Then I thought, okay, I can probably make this into scarves. And I looked on Instagram, like scrolling through hashtags textile printing in Jakarta. And then I visited a few of them. And I was really lucky that the first vendor that I visited was the best one. And yeah, they were able to like print everything out within like a week. So it was really fast.
Cool.
And everything was great. And then also like around the same time, a friend of mine invited me to do like a pop-up bazaar.
So at this time, you were already thinking about turning this into a business, or was it just
It was kind of like testing
something?
the water first. So I produced like just a limited amount. I think it was like 100 pieces of scarves. And a family friend, they had a church gathering. And then they invited me and they're like, hey, like you have this new product. Like, why don't you try and introduce it to the people in the gathering? They might like it because it's also like helping a community. They might like it. And so, yeah, I presented there and then like I told them about the stars and how it's made. And then it was sold out within that few hours. So that's when I
Cool.
realized that it can
There's
work.
something here.
Yeah.
And now you've also expanded to other kinds of products.
Yeah.
Which ones?
We have pouches. We have parachute bags, canvas bags. Now we're exploring into t-shirts and we're having a collaboration as well with a local company. We're going to make phone cases.
Amazing. So, do you want to talk a bit about the impact to the community with each sale?
So portions of our sales is contributed back to the artist. For every item sold, we give economic empowerment to the artist. And also, we believe that the impact that we made also includes improving their quality of life. Because, as I said, they didn't have anywhere else to go. And because of this, they get excited and therefore they get a sense of purpose and they have better vocational opportunities. They also become more confident because they know that other people outside of their family and outside of their school also value their creations, their artworks. And I also get a lot of inputs from the parents and the school that actually like by doing these paintings, their fine motoric skills and attention span is actually improved.
Amazing. So, it's actually enhancing their quality of life to be doing these paintings. So, would you say you found your purpose? The questions you had when we started this conversation?
You can say that. At first, also, I thought finding your purpose, it has to be something that is crazy big. But right now, like we have 12 full-time students and our dream is to increase the numbers, of course. But even if I just help 2 artists, I'll still be happy. Like I'll still feel whole because you don't get to do that every day and you don't get to have this opportunity in this life.
So, I'm seeing you like really glowing up at this part. What is it that really gives you this sense of purpose by working with these students?
I am really helped by the stories that they give us. We're working with a hotel in Bali. Like they want us to paint about sustainability or planet Earth. If I were asked to paint about sustainability, I would paint just the earth or green grass or stuff like this. But when we ask them, like, you get the most out of the box answers. And that always gets me excited. And a lot of their answers really touch my heart.
Which one of those answers is one that you can remember which really touched your heart?
Oh God. We always thought they are the people who needs our help, but I think we're the ones who need their help to get out of our heads and to be content with life. One time we were painting for Christmas and there's this one student who cannot even walk. He's on a wheelchair. And we asked him, what do you want to paint for Christmas? And then he said that he wanted to paint a Christmas gift for his sister. So we asked him, like, what kind of gift did you want to give her? And then he told us that his sister right now is sick and she hurt her foot. So his wish is for his sister to be able to walk again. In our head, like, oh my God, like this guy, he cannot even walk and he's wishing for his sister to be able to walk again.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So you said that you're the ones that need their help. What are the things that you've learned doing this work?
I think I learned so much more about life and the right attitude to live a happy life, which is perseverance, because they're born and living in a not ideal situation. But by conversing with them and reading their answers, I'm always under the impression that they are happy, even though they are longing to be more independent, to be more looked after, to be more valued by society at large. But I think within them, they're happy. And therefore, I learned that they persevere about their hopes and about their dreams. And this is also what inspired us to name our brand Terartai. So the Indonesian word for lotus flowers is Terartai without the R in the middle.
All right, so the name comes from the lotus flower. Why lotus flower?
Lotus flowers actually grow in the mud. The mud is a very non-ideal place for a plant to grow because it's dark and it's very thick. The sunlight cannot even pass through the thickness of the mud, and plants need sunlight to grow. But somehow they were able to persevere by growing very long roots and very wide leaf so they can actually absorb enough sunlight. Eventually, they're able to grow very beautiful flowers, and not only beautiful, they're very functional too. You can eat like all part of the plant.
That's amazing. So let's go over to a bit of the business side as well. So imagine there's a version of you right now who is 5 years younger than you and at the same crossroads. What can you give them, like what they can expect in terms of challenges and maybe advice that you would have?
Don't be afraid to fail. You may lose all of your money and your company may not survive, and that's okay, because through the process of growing it and facing whatever that is in front of you, you may not bloom like 100% yet, but facing the process of actually building your business, you probably have grown like another 5 or 10%. And that's great, right? Like it's all about moving forward and about growing and becoming the person that you're meant to be.
So you're saying keep moving forward because that will help you grow as a person.
Yeah.
Even failure is a lesson.
Yeah. It only fails when you stop.
How did your time at Innate Motion help you as an entrepreneur? Because you said, I wouldn't be the person I am if I hadn't had my 5 years at Innate Motion.
I learned to use empathy in the way that I approach my students. So when I first volunteered there, if I was just Amanda without my experience at Innate Motion, I wouldn't have the curiosity to ask them about their hobbies, about their life, and about their family. This was influenced by the way Innate approaches things as well, right? When you're going to immersions, you're becoming curious about the person's life as a human being. And I think subconsciously, I designed the process to that. I created the outline based on what the students hopes or what is it that they want to voice out, because most of them are nonverbal. So they communicate with their paintings. And yeah, I think that is the key role of Innate in my journey, getting to know them as a human being.
Yeah. Great. What's in store for Terartai in the future?
We just did our rebranding, so I'm really excited about that. We had a new logo, like a new brand guideline. We're revamping our website and all of our digital channels. I'm really excited to see the impact of that. And we want to strengthen our retail presence by actively joining different bazaars and pop-up shops. And hopefully by having a more retail presence, we are going to be able to work with more companies, because we need the strength from companies to help resonate the talents and the potentials of our artists.
And I'm sure there's listeners here who are dying to get the River of Friendship, maybe future t-shirts. Are you only available in Jakarta?
Right now, our products can only be purchased in Indonesia. because we're on the e-commerce platforms in Indonesia, but we're revamping our website and we're planning to make international orders available there. But for custom orders, meaning bulk orders, like we have a minimum of 50 pieces, that we can arrange international.
So people should definitely check out your website and your social media and get in touch with you if they're interested in those things.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Thank you very much, Amanda. That was a very delightful conversation and inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed our conversation.
We hope that we have inspired you into action for a regenerative future. This is by no means the easy way of doing business, but the way we see it, it is the only way. To join us in creating a more regenerative world, please visit our website on innatemotion.com or follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn.